So the Chesapeake Mission is the mission home and mission office is in Chesapeake and Portsmouth, Virginia. And the greatest population of people is in Virginia, but geographically it covers mostly North Carolina. And I had the chance to serve in 3 completely different areas. It just made a big triangle across the whole mission. And my first area was Williamsburg, so that's a lot of historical things. I served in the James City County part, which is where the Jamestown settlement is, and there's just a lot of really rich history there and a lot of tourists that come. So the Williamsburg sisters that served there had a lot of chances to talk with people from different parts of the world. And then my last area was in Nags Head, North Carolina on the Outer Banks, and that's where the Wright brothers had their first flight in that area. So that was pretty incredible. There's some neat American history there, as well as the first settlement in America was, I forgot what it's called, just barely. Oh, the Roanoke Island settlement, and they call it the Lost Island because this whole colony went missing, which is all I know about that part. But it was neat to be in 3 really completely different areas and see different things. There's a lot of military out there. There's many military and Army and naval bases. And in Virginia Beach, they have planes that fly over that are really loud all the time. So we talked to missionaries that served there, and they would say things about how they would be in this incredibly spiritual moment in this lesson, and then these huge fighter jets would fly over Virginia Beach, and you just have to pause and not say anything and wait for them to fly over. So, but it's really neat to have military families there because they're kind of transitional, but a lot of the people that are there have really receptive hearts because they're either alone or searching for a church while they're in a different place and trying to find a bit of home or a bit of comfort, which is something the gospel can really provide for people. And I know there's many miraculous experiences that missionaries have had teaching people who have been out there just for a short time, and you catch them for that one moment and are able to teach them the gospel. Other facts, there's a place called Mount Olive, and they manufacture pickles. And you see them in the stores at Walmart, but they have this huge pickle factory, and they have a pickle drop for New Year's, where they drop a giant pickle instead of the ball that they have at Times Square. So the locals are pretty proud of that, I believe, and I think it's something to be proud of, and it's really unique. Then we're bordered by the Richmond, Virginia mission and the Raleigh, North Carolina mission. So the 2 temples that we're in between are the Washington, D.C. temple and the Raleigh temple. And I never got to visit the temple because it was too far away, but the members went a lot, and they had lots of fun youth trips that they were able to take investigators with them to see the visitor center at the Washington, D.C. temple, and just pretty miraculous experiences with that as well. So for the most part, because the mission is so spread out, most of the missionaries have cars. There are a few areas where elders have bikes, and I think there's just one area where sisters have bikes. And I was in one area where we had dual because members had purchased bikes for us, and we had a bike rack on our car. So we chose to ride bikes in certain places. And it was a blessing to have a car because my second area was about 2.5 hours across. It was really large. And I know there's other areas like that too. So there was no way that we were going to ride our bikes that far. And the weather was really, really interesting, very different than what I was used to. Because in Utah, when I heard scattered thunderstorms on the weather, I would just assume that the sky was going to be gray all day long, and then there would be little showers here and there. In Virginia, scattered thunderstorms are really weird because there's literally just pockets of clouds and then blue sky everywhere else. And then all of a sudden you'll have a torrential downpour as this cloud passes over you, and you'll be soaking wet, and then it's blue and sunshiny again all of a sudden. So that was really interesting and unique. Since it is coastal, we did have, while I was on my mission, we had one hurricane that hit, but it was just not very bad at all. It was like a little bit of wind and some rain, but it didn't cause too much damage. And then there was tornadoes, which I didn't know that tornadoes happened out there, but there were tornadoes that, there was one storm they had that I think 3 people were hurt or killed. I don't remember, but it was interesting. I never saw one, but I think we drove through one once. We were coming back from a zone conference, and there were tree limbs falling on the roads and torrential downpour of rain, and we just said a prayer. And once we got out of this swirling wind, we were like, I think we just drove through a tornado, or at least we're going to claim that we did, because that is much more unique and cool experience sounding than just saying that we drove through a really bad rainstorm. So we claim that we drove through a tornado, but I don't know if it's true. Somebody called it a swirling thunderstorm, which sounds about the same to me. So, but the weather was pretty unique.